Hello, Facebook.
Come on, Mr. Dude.
Oh,
I got Percy here, my
He's
main
got it.
beast. He's here. He's bored. He sleeps all day, so then he gets up and then he wants to come and hang out. So
he's such a big boy,
dude,
man. Every time I come to your house, I see that thing walking around. I'm like, oh my god,
it's like a whale shark. Yeah, it's like this woolly mammoth walking around.
I'm like, I didn't know you had a dog.
I know exactly. Now he's rubbing around down here by my feet. It was like tickling my leg. Oh man. So dude, I can't believe we're gonna do this again, man. It's unreal that just to give everybody an update. Hello, by the way. We decided to come on here and check in because tomorrow we have another event, not 10 hours, but 4 hours, which will probably turn into 5.
Yeah,
but so funny,
a little more manageable.
When did we talk? Sunday, I remember we regrouped and we were just exhausted from being on the air 10 hours last Saturday. And I think it was Monday or so.
We were doing it again.
Yeah, Monday you called me and said, hey, that TV station in Fresno that was streaming wanted to put us back on the air for like 4 hours and actually put you on the air. And I was like, look, you want me to jump in or not? He goes, yeah, of course. In fact, we should call so-and-so and so-and-so and such and such. And then, of course, by the time we get here now, it's,
What actually started Monday morning. So a bunch of people, for whatever reason, some guys had some tech issues and couldn't get in, like Beeler, his power went out in the middle of it. And then by the time he got back in, like we were already balls deep in the schedule and I just couldn't get him back in. Lou Temple got confused on the time zones. So by the time I hit him up and he realized it was over.
Yeah, I know. There were a few people like that. Yeah.
I mean, so there's all the, and there's a couple guys that, D. Snyder, who we talked to before the original one, and he just couldn't do it because there was a crazy lockdown thing going down where he lives that weekend. So for whatever reason, there was a bunch of people that didn't make it in. And I was on the phone with Lou Temple on Monday morning. He called me like, dude, I'm so sorry. Is there anything else we can do? He's like, look, I'll make some Facebook videos. If people want to make a donation, I'll make like a custom, like a cameo style video for them. Right. And I said, yeah, maybe we'll do something. Maybe we'll do some kind of makeup test live stream. And that was totally a joke. I just said that, like, maybe we'll do like a makeup test. Yeah. And I'm like, God, that's kind of
which brilliant. For schools out makes sense. The schools out initiative now has a makeup test. It's better than detention. Just come back in and do a makeup test. It beats detention. So no, it was cool, man. And we reached out. And funny, speaking of Beeler, yesterday, so Meltdown, our friend from WRIF in Detroit, which is the big rock radio station there, he hit me last week about doing an interview. I said, sure, man, no problem. And so yesterday he calls me, and when he gets me on the phone, he's got Chuck Beeler on the phone, and the three of us do an interview. So now we got two Beelers. We got Jason Beeler and Chuck Beeler coming in.
I listened to that interview today. It's awesome.
Is it good? I know. It was so funny, and Meltdown's such a cool guy. He goes, I go right past Chuck's house on the way home. If he needs beer, cigarettes, or a carton of milk, like I can drop some up. I can help him out if he doesn't want to leave this house, So I know Meltdown is just such a good dude, and So and it's funny because then I hit Chuck. I said, dude, why don't you come on our webathon here on tomorrow? So he's going to join us and
man, so this list, so Chuck's gonna try. So this list. So let me just say, so I was talking to Lou, had this random idea by like Monday night. It was like a full-on thing that we're doing it, and then we just started reaching out to people, and it's like now the list for Friday is honestly bigger than last Saturday. I mean,
I know.
Don Jameson, D. Snyder, and Don was there. He's just coming back again.
Yeah. Don's awesome, man. Don's just like, whatever I can do, I'm in. He's awesome.
Anytime you have Don Jameson there, I want to do it.
Don's just funny. He's just a funny comedian. Remember when we were playing at Long Branch, New Jersey, when we started the summer tour. And remember, we were on stage and we mentioned his name, and just without missing a beat, he goes, "Yeah, I came because I had a group on." I'm like, what a knucklehead. These guys are just him and Florentine and Greg and these guys, man, they're just so quick-witted and funny. And so it's
when we played, remember when me and you played in New Jersey, Quarantine and Jameson came too. And that's the first time I met Jim, actually. And I love that I just called him Quarantine. I think that's
Jim Quarantine. Hey, we love him. He's one of our favorite guys in the Quarantine. You need a laugh, call Jim. And it's funny because then we went over to Mark Weiss's house. Mark lived not too far from Long Branch, and that's when we met up with him. How cool is that new book that he has out with all those And I didn't know. I mean, I remember that he did the Bon Jovi Slippery When Wet album cover.
He did so much stuff. He did Slippery When Wet. He did Cinderella Night songs. He did all the pictures for like Ozzy, like for the Ultimate Sin album, like that huge Ultimate Sin poster I actually got from Mark. Like somewhere in my room back there, I have a giant poster tube in that corner. That's all posters that Mark gave me. He did Dokken, Under Lock and Key, Back to the Attack. Like,
hey, and speaking of which, I reached out. I hit Jeff Pilson is going to join us, and I was just watching. I'm going to keep it up here on my computer. I just found an awesome 1987 YouTube. It's funny. I was going to do evening yoga the other night, which helps me sleep well. And I saw, what is it? Okay, let me see. Here it is. I have it right here. The Back for the Attack tour, November 10th, 1987. And I want to talk to Jeff about that, because that was the tour that me and Dave and Chris Poland went down to go see Judas Priest on the Turbo tour, and Dokken was opening for him. And it's probably the same tour, because that's at the one that I have up on YouTube is from the Spectrum, which is the big arena back then in Philadelphia. So it's probably the same tour. And that's the tour I saw Jeff play his Charvel bass, and the tone hit me. It was so powerful that I went to the Guitar Center like the next day and picked up what was in a Jackson bass. Speaking of which,
and it was Adios BC Rich.
That's it. And that was and a tone was born. I played a Jackson through a Harkey and a Gallion Kruger bass amp head in Guitar Center on Sunset. And that was the next chapter of my tone. Me and Dave went out to see Grover Jackson when he still owned the company. And he made Dave his 24 fret Flying V out of basically Robin Crosby from Rat took his King V design, and Dave made it into a 24 fret instead of a 22 fret. So it became the first 24 fret guitar that Jackson had, at least in the Flying V. And then Grover made me my Quicksilver 4-string bass. And here we are.
Somebody just asked, what bass did you use on Cryptic Writings? Was it that Modulus?
Yes, yeah. I used two. I have a Spectre NS2 that I bought out of the Recycler, which is the classified ads newspaper out in Los Angeles. I bought it from this guy from Israel, and I met him at a car wash parking lot on Van Nuys and Ventura. I met him there's a really popular car wash there. I met him there, and we did the deal out of the trunk of our car. I paid him the cash. I think I paid him $1,200 for it, which was a lot of money back then.
Oh yeah.
And that was 1992. I bought it, and I just kept it. Or 92 or 93, and I just kept it in my, in my house. And then finally, I broke it out for. Actually, I probably broke it out for Euthanasia, and it didn't sound right. But then I broke it out for Cryptic Writings, and it was the perfect tone. So I used that Modulus that's in the pictures with the white neck, which is a one-of-a-kind Modulus, and that Spectre NS2. That's what I used throughout. And I might have used the Honey Maple Modulus on a song. Maybe one song on that record, but
the one is the weird one with the phenolic neck, right?
That's that white, and then so that phenolic is basically the same material you use on a bowling ball, same exact material. And speaking of which, so today did this awesome webinar with Berkeley College with me and Dirk, Justin Chancellor, and Danny Carey from Tool, and Ray Luzier, drummer for Korn, Billy Sheehan, Steve Bailey, and Victor Wooten. I mean, it was a hell of a chat, man. It was like over 2 hours, man. And we were, I hit Dirk because Steve hit me last week and I said, hey, we're thinking about doing this thing. You want to jump in? I said, yeah, let me hit Dirk. And so we basically had this rhythm section thing going on because Billy Sheehan and Ray Luzier have played together. And it was just so cool, especially talking to the Tool guys. I have not seen them since 98. So Cryptic Writings tour in 1998, we did an Ozfest in 1998. And Jimmy DeGrasso had just come into the band, and he's going to be joining us tomorrow, by the way.
Yes.
And he actually was in Ozzy's band for a short minute while they were writing The Ultimate Sin. So we'll have to hit him up and ask him some good stories about that.
I think it was literally like 4 minutes.
Yeah, 4 minutes exactly. But we did that, and so it's just funny to revisit that. And I was telling Danny and Justin, I said it was what a weird moment that was, because on that Ozfest, Ozzy headlined, then it was Tool, then it was Megadeth, and before us was Limp Bizkit. And I said,
West Portland is joining us.
West Portland will be here. So
whole tour tomorrow. West is joining us tomorrow.
What a weird moment in time. Here we are with our long hair and our skinny jeans up there thrashing and headbanging, sandwiched between Tool and Limp Bizkit. It was talk about a weird
and that was the 90s right there in a nutshell.
That was it. And speaking of which, so we're going to have Head on.
I didn't even get to go through this list, man.
Yeah, Mark Tremonti. Yeah.
Head from Korn, West Portland. Randy Blythe from Lamb of God's going to join us. Yeah. Lou Temple from The Walking Dead. Zach Galligan from Gremlins. Super cool guy that me and Dave have hung out with a bunch at conventions, and big metalhead. And dude, I love Gremlins. So I'd say, I just posted today, I got these two, like in the 80s when Gremlins came out, if you bought High C, and this is the kind of shit that's missing from the world. If you bought High C, there was a display in the store. You could get these posters. They're two-sided. One side is Spike, and one side is Gizmo, and it's just collage.
Oh, nice.
And I have two of them. I have one hung on each side, framed. I just redid my living room, as I told you, and I just hung them up, and I posted them this morning on Facebook. And funny enough, and then we get Zach to do that. Zach. So, Billy I got Ray Parker Jr. and Fran Strine. Fran Strine, your buddy who made the Hired Gun movie, making a movie now with Ray Parker Jr. I mean, dude,
Fran Strine.
All my buttons, man. Like I collect Ghostbusters, Gremlins. Like you can see my nerdiness come into play on all this shit we do for sure.
I just popped into the comment section here for a minute. Yeah, someone's just talking about Chris Poland. I know. I was hoping and Chris was a guy who was not able to get in last week, so we're having him on tomorrow, right? Chris
and unfortunately, I talked to Chris. He's actually really sick, so I don't know if he's going to make it today. He said he's going to hit me up tomorrow if he feels better, but I talked to him today, and he's been really sick all week. So I was like, well, buddy, don't worry about it. If you feel better, you can join us. Otherwise, so I was talking to Randy Burns tonight, and
Randy Burns, producer of P. Cell's album.
Maybe me, you, Randy Burns, and Poland can do one of these like next week or something. If Chris,
that sounds great. Yeah, we can do.
Wouldn't that be cool?
We can do a P. Cells behind the music. Yeah, good idea. Hey, by the way, I posted this. I posted this yesterday, and these fans, and Tom, you actually helped hook them up. These fans,
America actually, I think sent those.
America, thank you, America. So so it's Roswell Publishing, and it's Rachel Gilliver. She has compiled this book with these fans that have contributed stories,
which nobody asked me. Thanks very much.
Well, you get the fanboy enough, but like here's these people that have written these stories in here, and this is a memoir, and the cover feels just like our book. It's really well done, and so it's called Skin O' Our Teeth, and it's stories from Megadeth's fans. So it's basically the fans writing an autobiography. Like here's somebody. If in 50 years some kids look back and ask who the heck was Megadeth, I would think there would still be talk of them and the positive impact they made, not just on metal, but music, but on their fans' lives. They should say it all. So that's one. There's other ones. That I am a super fan. That's what my family and friends think of me. It's actually funny because a lot of people relate to me and the band when there's something in the news, blah, 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 blah. So all these people just giving these wonderful stories about me and Dave and the guys in Megadeth over the years, and just awesome stories. Dude, nice hat.
Thank you.
You know what?
That's appropriate. Where's yours?
I agree. It's time.
There you go. The general and the sergeant.
It's time to sit in the war room and have these discussions finally. This is really what it is. It's like,
hey, how funny. Gary from Raffle is in the room, who actually made these helmets for him.
Gary? Yeah, he actually made these. These are awesome. This is
he doesn't go on. Funny, I was just about to give him a shout. He doesn't go on Facebook. He's too cool for Facebook, but his kid has a Facebook, so he slips in through the back door through that. So thank you, Gary.
So here's one. I discovered the band of Metal Man. This is Dina from Ceuta, Spain, and I'm probably saying that all wrong. Says, I've been a Megadeth fan for about 11 years, I think. I wish I'd known about them before. Symphony of Destruction was the first song that I heard. Once I heard that, I went on about So Far So Good Sweat, Countdown to Extinction, and 13. They mean a lot to me. Freedom, strength, and they give me power to fight for a lot of things I couldn't even in my darkest hour. A lot of things I couldn't even in my darkest hour. So I was lucky to see them in Hamburg, Germany on the 4th of July, 2011. Amazing live, won't forget it. So anyway, just awesome. If you get a chance, pick up a copy of this, support the cause. And Rachel will probably write more of these if people send in more stories. So I thought it was very clever. This was a nice surprise to go to the mailbox yesterday and find those. So thank you, Tom, for helping hook that up. I appreciate it.
What I do.
That's what you do. And this is also what we do. A tunnel vocal zone.
I got one in my mouth right now.
We're talking so much. So, hey, you mentioned to me that you extended the raffle, right? So
yeah. So what we did is, we gave away some stuff after the thing last week. And we gave away the bass, which we announced during the broadcast. And it was somebody from Iron Mountain, Michigan, actually, one that I don't have her name in front of me right now. But I could probably find it if I had to. But so we decided, look, we're going to take everybody who bought some of the raffle. We're going to extend it to Friday. We're going to put everybody who bought into the raffle for tomorrow. And it's going to make it one big raffle. And now you have a chance at winning another David Jackson bass.
Yes. So there it is. This is the bass. And then I will tune it up because it's not really tuned up, but I will tune it up, plug it in. So in case there's any random jams that go down, maybe me and Head can play Symphony of Destruction.
Hey, we've done it before.
Yeah. So anyway, this bass, I happen to have one here, and it's brand new in the box. So I have it sitting here, and that'll be the one. So I'll sign it like I did for the other one. I'll sign it and do a little video. We can do a shout out. So that is, Patricia, combat helmets. I know. Aren't they awesome?
These are not up for raffle. These are ours. Only 2 of these exist.
We could make these as merch items, though. They're kind of cool, right? I mean, they're not bad.
But then they wouldn't be as cool that we have them if everybody had them.
I know. Yeah, exactly. Command Central, we need to have the combat.
The general and the sergeant.
Exactly.
So somebody said something about making an audiobook. Justin, our book, More Life with Death, available now, is also available as an audiobook on Audible and wherever fine audiobooks are sold. So, and the cool thing about the audiobook for More Life with Death is we actually had KK Downing and Dan Donegan and Head and me and David, obviously, and all the other cats that are in this book. That Brian Slagle, I think,
Dirk and Kiko, everybody,
they all read their own parts, which is super cool. So I don't think an audiobook's ever been done like that. They usually have other people read them, but not us being the overachievers. We actually rounded up just about everybody. And anybody who couldn't, we had our buddy Drew Fortier read them.
Yeah, it's great. It's super cool to hear and that's what I said to KK. I said, dude, you got like a voice. You could be like narrating BBC war documentaries, He's got such a wonderful, smooth, calming, peaceful, like a very authoritative British voice, So, it's great. It was very kind that everybody was able to do that last summer when we were putting it together. And yeah, you're right, Tom. I think it makes for a very unique book that all the contributors were able to, or most all of them were able to, to sign them. Alex Tillery, yes, I agree. Kiko has awesome YouTube videos, and that's another thing
of YouTube.
That's another thing too. Tomorrow we'll try to do our best to remember when people like Jimmy DeGrasso are on, and some of our other guests that some of them do give lessons, and they do give Skype lessons. They're going to do a few, obviously, for us to the Schools Out initiative. And by the way, Ellefson Youth Music Foundation.org is our command central where there's a little donate button if you're inclined to donate toward the cause.
Also just put up today, I'm going to post the link right now in the chat. We put up you can order shirts. You can order a David Ellefson Youth Music Foundation shirt and a Schools Out shirt and an Oh Say Can You Stream shirt. The proceeds from our friends at Merch Live are printing those for us. The proceeds from those are going to go to the David Ellefson Youth Music Foundation.
Nice.
Hey, look at that. There's Jackson. Let's see. Hold that bass up again. We'll give Jackson a little love. Hi, Jackson.
Give Jackson a little love. There we go.
Yeah,
that's funny. I hit Mark Morton. I was talking to him. He's actually doing an Instagram takeover on Jackson. I actually did one a couple weeks ago. I did one. And but Randy Blythe is going to be coming on. He's going to be joining us tomorrow. So it'll be great to talk to him from Lamb of God, of course. And that'll be cool to be chatting with him. And
Al Petrelli.
Al Petrelli, yes. Me and Al talk a
alumni.
lot. Yeah, in fact, I actually just went and I sent him some coffee the other day. Shh, don't tell him. It'll show up at his door. Every time I go down and I see him with the Trans-Siberian Orchestra when they come to town, I always bring him some coffee just as a guest, as a kind of thing. But yeah, it'll be awesome to have Al on. Al and I have remained dear friends since his days at Megadeth, and so that's going to be good. Yeah, like I say, Jeff Pilson, really looking forward to talking to him. A lot of buddies, just kind of a lot of friends from over the years getting caught up. Of course, Dee Snider has been so supportive to me. He's always supporting not only Megadeth stuff, but stuff that I've been doing as far back as F5. He talks about it on Hair Nation. Funny, I went through a Hair Nation binge about a month ago. I was driving around.
I love Hair Nation, man. I
love it.
I think we go out on Saturday nights and just drive around so I can listen to it.
And what's so funny is like every hour you hear a Dawkins song, a Cinderella song, a Slaughter song. They're like the programming, like every hour you just hear one, and it's
and once a show they throw in a Megadeth song, which is when I turn it up really loud. The last time I listened, it was actually Peace Sells, and I remember sitting in my car cranking it up and going
on Hair Nation.
No, yep, on the Hair on House of Hair. Yep.
On House of Hair. Okay, got it. No, yeah, I can believe that with Dee. Yeah, he would play that.
It was awesome.
Yeah. We had a great connection years ago, and I should actually remember to talk to Dee about this tomorrow. I remember we flew from Buenos Aires. It was in December, and we flew from Buenos Aires up to Detroit, and it was the last show of our tour that year, probably 97, I guess. And 97 or maybe 98. No, I think 97. It would have been 97. And we played a show up in Auburn Hills at the Palace. It was a radio show, probably for Riff, for the same show Meltdown works for. So it was the Riff Christmas party, and Dee was hosting it. And Twisted Sister had kind of gone away for a while. Dee had not been super visible, and yet he was hosting it, and it was super cool to just connect with him, and it was great to see him back out and rocking. But he's been doing a lot of stuff, man. He's written songs for a lot of people in his time off.
Dee's awesome.
Great, unbelievable.
I don't even know if you know this. I'll probably nerd out on this a little bit tomorrow with Dee, but so it's kind of like been a fabled part of my existence. So the first two records I owned in my life were basically Metal Health and Stay Hungry. And the third was Shout at the Devil. Like those were the definitive bands that made me this metal scumbag you see before you. Were Quiet Riot and Twisted Sister. I mean, Twisted Sister really was like.
Hey, speaking of that, is Carlos Cavaza coming on tomorrow?
Supposed to be. One person says he is. One person says they haven't heard back from him yet. So I don't know. He might.
Okay,
he might
we will find out. We will find out. I saw his name on a list, and I was like, "Dude, I love Carlos, man." It's funny. When I was working for Petey at the NAMM show one year, right as we were closing up at the end of the day, Carlos and Frank Domino, who is the singer for Angel, they both came up together, and we started talking. I mean, talk about me having my fanboy geek out moment over Frank. I mean, Frank Domino and Angel is the equivalent of Kiss in my book.
Yeah, see that to me, that's like Twisted Sister and Quiet Riot and later Megadeth and Motley and all this shit that, you know what I mean? It's like it's still all around me, man. Like I represent, I live mired in that shit. Speaking of awesome, Craig Locasero from
Craig, hey, what's happening, buddy? Yeah,
dude.
Yeah. What's happening there, guys?
Nick Uchiha, the guy who won your other bass this week.
Nice. Metal scumbag. That's funny. You've coined a new phrase, Tom. Well, hey, I think I'm going to go binge watch a little Netflix, and I've been reading an awesome Jack Reacher book, which I love, and so I think I'm going to go sign off with that. And dude, it's awesome that I'm glad we got a chance to come in and check in with everybody. And hello from Mankato, Troy Thompson. Hey, what's happening? So
tomorrow. So we got a ton of people joining us. We still didn't even get through the list, man. We ain't done yet. Mike Gitter from Century Media is going to join us, who actually A&R'd a couple Megadeth records at one point in his storied career. Yeah. Brian Slagle from Metal Blade. Johnny Z is going to join us.
I mean, come on. Yeah. That's like thrash metal pioneer legacy right there between Slagle and Johnny Z. Brian, of course, owner of Metal Blade Records. Johnny Z signed Metallica, signed Anthrax to his Megaforce Records. back in 1983. Yeah, just stuff of legend right there.
I still, awesome. I mean, Johnny Z called me yesterday or the day before to talk about this. I shot him an email about it, and he called me, and I still totally, I fanned out over him probably more than, I mean, who has done more for metal than Johnny Z? Honestly, I mean, discovered Metallica, Anthrax. Technically, Slagle and Johnny Z both discovered Metallica because Brian was there first and put out, put him on.
Well, we should ask Brian that tomorrow, because he's got great stories about when he and Lars were just buddies, record trading buddies. And there's a story that I heard is that, that he used to encourage Lars to put his drum kit together and form a band. So we'll have to ask him about that tomorrow. He's in the book. He's in the book and in the audiobook. So he was kind enough to take time to read his audio parts. Yeah, we'll have to geek out with Brian. And Brian, when I first got to LA and I met Dave, Brian was always one of the guys on the scene. And it struck me as odd that, you picture like your typical record mogul, like record company guy, fat cat, cigar, Rolls Royce, and all that. And Brian was so not that. He was just like a dude on the scene, always at the shows, was always there. And it just reminded me just how cool our scene was. And of course, he was there with the Metal Massacre records. I think that's kind of what kickstarted a lot of his business. And yeah, with Bitch and Malice, Metallica, Rat, all these early. We'll let him tell the story tomorrow when we have one here.
Keel was on that.
Keel, yeah.
Man, people really like these helmets, man. Maybe
they're awesome. I'm telling you, we should. Yeah, look at that. Awesome. They've even taken a freaking hit right here. There it is. Yeah. So
based on the design by our own Melody Myers.
Yeah.
See, here's our guy.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and see, there's the bullet hole, and that's the OG.
Any chance you're going to give away those combat helmets? Not a chance in hell. I assure you, unless Tom wants to give his away. But you know what? We should make more, because look, people like seeing into the war room here. So strategy planning meetings. So Vicky Hill, nice, right? Awesome. Justin Germain.
Yeah, we got like 300 people in here right now or more, so we got time. So
Justin Germain's asking why my favorite pick player. Okay, why did I say in the pick? Well, here's why. So when I was a kid, I'll just answer one kind of music geek question here, because these are things us bass players geek out on. So when I was a kid and I was playing with Greg Handovit, my childhood friend, who's also in our book, guitar players would get like a 50 or 100 watt Marshall half stack, and they were so loud. In fact, finally, Tom Scholes from Boston created that power soak, which was like an attenuator. So you could turn your Marshall full up, and then you could attenuate the volume down. It was a way to sort of overdrive the Marshall to get that Marshall distortion. But even still, amps were so loud, and I couldn't afford big, amp pegs and big, huge amps like I'm able to play through now. So I just had this little half-stack Music Man, and I could hardly hear myself when playing the fingers. So I grabbed a pick, and as I started playing with the pick, I could hear myself. I'd have to hit it harder and grind into the bass a little more, but I was able to hear myself. And the same thing when we started Megadeth, I was playing a lot of fingers, but as we started to get into the different, like Devil's Island and a lot of the more technical picking, stuff that Dave was doing on the guitar, I was like, I want to play along with that because it'll just sound tighter. So the pick just worked, so there they are. That's what I use. So
I haven't seen David play with his fingers. He can't. It's so cool when I played with Poland at the when he got inducted into the Metal Hall of Fame. Ricky Bonazza, the kid that played You for the Night, Junior. It was so cool because he plays with his fingers, and we played Peace Cells, and he played it so killer, but he played it with his fingers, so it was like different watching somebody. You know what I mean?
I saw somebody play it once up here. This is not in tune at all. So here it's supposed to be played here.
The Finger Lakes. People disappear in the Finger Lakes.
I mean, you could play it with fingers. But I did see a guy. I was a judge at this Law Rocks, this band of lawyers, right? That were competing. And the guy played it up here. He's a good bass player, actually. And he played it up here. He just so out of tune. I'm so out of tune. I haven't tuned this thing, but you can play it here, but it's with open strings. And the thing is, when you play with a pick, is you're strumming down. So the strings that remain open are the ones behind the pick, right? When you play with your fingers, you're muting the string that's behind your action, right? So you're pulling back onto another string, right? So that's why some lines don't work with fingers. And what I found is you can always play a finger line for the most part by muting down here, right? You can always mute a string with this hand. You can't always mute when you're playing with your fingers. And some people, I see them try to mute up here, but then you get little harmonics that ring out. So it's just not very effective. I've just found the pick for most rock stuff to be just a little, you know, I don't know, just it's a little more versatile, I find. And I like the tone of it. So there you go. Long answer to a short question.
But I say people love these. Man, people are obsessed with these helmets.
I know, they rock, dude. They're awesome.
All right, silent auction. Let's see your bids for my helmet.
We do look like Hogan's Heroes. You're like the big German guy. I'm more like who is the main guy? Who is it? Nine. Who's the your peppers?
Yeah, your peppers.
Who was the other guy? The main guy, he didn't look so. He had like the black jacket on. Yeah, I forgot what his name was.
It depends. In Megadeth, you usually use Dunlop, and everything else, we have our Sinister picks for combat.
Yeah, the Sinister picks. You know, it's funny. I've been working on some stuff. Let me see if I can reach it over here. We've got a couple. So here's the main one. It's a 0.88 gauge. Then I have these here. This black one is a little thicker. That's probably a 0.1.
Yeah, I think that's like a 1 millimeter.
Yeah, and when I'm playing faster thrashier stuff, that one works. And then I've actually got one of these of Kiko's. We all have each other's picks later on. So there's a Kiko pick, and this is actually a plastic. I think it's a plastic Ibanez pick, and it's thicker. It's even thicker than these two. So I've been I'm sitting here practicing some of the new Megadeth stuff, and I'll pick it up and start thrashing on it. And I like it. It's actually pretty good. And at one point on the P-Cells tour, I actually used these purple ones, which I don't know what gauge that is. That's a little heavier than a 1. Yeah, I think it's the same as this one.
Same. I think that's a 1.
Yeah, a 1. Yeah. So on the P-Cells tour and album, I used those. Usually have a bunch of picks here. Put them away.
Somebody asked, what are those light up guitars behind you?
Oh yeah, who made those?
Somebody made. I think we were going to sell those at one point. Yeah. I don't know whatever happened.
I've got 2 back there sitting next to my Iowa Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction piece. But yeah, I turn those on. I think I like them. It's kind of like having a groovy black lamp or something, right? Like a black light, right? A black light in my room. Yeah, they are cool. What are we going to do with those? Are we selling those things?
We were going. I even remember what happened to the person who made those. I remember they wanted us to.
Yeah.
And we were just so busy. It was like right in the middle of everything. Yeah. Yeah, they're actually, if you see them, they're Jacksons. They're David's. Yeah, they're David. You can't really see because they're so far, but they're really cool. They're actually David's. She was supposed to send he or she. I didn't even know, was supposed to send me one too. That's probably why they never got sold, because they never sent me one. You want to get shit done, you send it to me, not David.
Yeah.
David will put it in his office and it looks awesome, but if you actually want to get it done, you got to send it to me.
Yeah, exactly. If anything up here, I just keep everything because I get. You know what's funny? I went to storage last week and I found like a box of these things, a ton of them. So
really?
Yeah, there's like a ton of these things. So
great.
So anyway,
awesome, man. Well, look, maybe we'll reconnect with the person who made those lights and we'll put them up.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
Let's do that. Those are cool. And maybe
Don Wilcox got my tickets. June 23rd show. I know. I mean, who knows? I mean, we're playing it week by week. You know what I mean? I mean, right now, in my mind, we're going on tour until we're not. You know, so hopefully, who knows? You know, it's weird, isn't it? Sometimes you wake up and it just feels like Groundhog's Day. Like, oh gosh, you know. And here, you know, probably like where you're at, Tom. It's pretty remote area in Green Bay, and same here. I get up and I go outside. I'm like, oh, nothing wrong here. You know what I mean? And then it kind of hits you. It's like, oh yeah, that's right. We're locked down. You know, but
and I just try and, you know, look, it's funny because you know, we've talked about that. I spend most of my time here anyway. Usually I'm at this desk on the phone with you or just working, doing stuff. Yeah. It's like, you know, but when you go out in the world, it's like, oh yeah, it's a little weird, especially today. Like, weird. Yeah. I had to go pick up some prescription. Like I'm at Walgreens, everybody's wearing masks. I mean, it feels like the fucking Twilight Zone. It really does. Yeah. Gas is 99 cents. Everybody's wearing masks. I mean,
yeah, it's so weird. I turn my computer here and I have a video studio. If I move it over here to this place, it's my recording studio. So it's yeah, so a lot of people asking a bunch of music questions. Yeah, Ma Vishnu Orchestra, I knew of them before Gar was in the band, and myself taught some. I'm also formally taught by way of orchestra band and jazz band and also piano lessons. So I'm in fact, I've been studying since I've been home. I don't have my books here, but it's funny. I actually found a book that Steve Bailey at Berkeley gave me last time I was there. It's a bebop book, so it's like a swing book. So I've been sight reading out of it just to, the music doesn't make any sense to me because it's not music I would ever play, but I've just been sight reading the notes, and it's good to get my sight reading chops back up again. It's been pretty cool. And I also have another little blues book, which is actually kind of helpful because I don't play a lot of blues, but blues is the common thing. Everyone get together and jam some blues. So it's fun to kind of read this book and pick up some extra little chops. And
Chris Corley, you enter the base giveaway. I'm going to put the link right now. You buy the raffle tickets for our charity event tomorrow. We're giving it away during the show tomorrow night. You can find all the info at ellispoonyouthmusicfoundation.org. I just posted the link. We're giving away a bunch of coffee, a bunch of stuff, shirts, CDs, Ellison CDs. And speaking of which, I don't know if has everybody heard our new single, Simple Truth, that's out. It came out last week. I just posted the link in the room too. You can pick that up. That actually comes out tomorrow on iTunes, Spotify, everywhere else. You can buy it now on Bandcamp as an EP with live versions of Vultures and If You Were God, with actually me and David singing If You Were God, not John Bush like on the record. And the acoustic version of Simple Truth from the show last Saturday. So you can pick up that EP. All the proceeds from the single are going to the Italian Red Cross and their COVID-19 relief efforts. Here's the link to the Bandcamp for the EP. Check it out. John, that would be awesome. John Horn said, I'd love to donate a Combat and Sleeping Giant skateboard for you guys to raffle off. Combat.
Thank you, John.
I got one right back there on the wall next to my body count skateboard. You can see it. Where is
maybe you can. I got one over here too. Maybe we can.
Actually behind Spider-Man. I got to move Spidey, but I have the combat board back. Dude, that would be awesome, John. If you wanted to do that, we could give them away, and you could just send them out to the people. Honestly, we'll just pick the winners, and so there you go. Buy your.
I actually have one back here. If I could actually auction that one, the combat one, if you want, and then whatever. However, John wants to do it. That's funny, Brittany Benjamin. This is my new normal. No kidding, it is right. This is the new normal. I know we've all been talking about that, haven't we? Because we do so much of this kind of interactive stuff now online. You see people jamming together online, and it's weird. It is kind of it is a new normal. I talked to a lot of people. Obviously, fans hit me from around the world too, and I asked people from Japan and South Korea and friends over in Singapore, and just kind of asking them what's going on, how is it over there, because some of us are hearing if there's going to be a second wave of this corona thing again, how these countries are dealing with it. We were just with Rob Caggiano last week, and he said he thought Denmark, where Volbeat is based, they might actually be opening up this week. So I guess we keep an eye on it, and we obviously all of us can't wait for concerts to resume. We've had so many friends who are I see you. You're going to get a bass up. I
got my David Ellison bass.
We're going to go to war, are we?
You guys might recognize this one.
That's from the album cover.
That is. This is the bass from the Sleeping Giants cover right here.
That is it. We took the pictures in my cul-de-sac right down here, right down this, like literally.
And we shot 500
feet from my house.
Took the pictures, shot the video. Here's the album cover. We obviously made it look a little more apocalyptic. We didn't even know how prophetic this would be when we made this cover. And now here we are a year later, locked down on quarantine.
Yeah, you don't want to be prophesizing stuff. That's not good. So
anyway, this is it. This is the real article right here.
That is the real deal right there. Yep, that was one of my
Green Bay, Wisconsin, in my office.
That was one of my 4-string 20th anniversary Rust in Peace basses right there. One of my only 4-string. In fact, I think I forgot the history of that. Was that the one that was one of the very early ones they gave me when I got with Jackson back in 2010. Brian McDonald, our good friend. It's funny. The word went out. The press release went out in February. I think it was like February 8th, 2010. David Ellison rejoins Megadeth. literally within 5 minutes, my phone's blowing up from Brian McDonald going, all right, can we start making Jackson basses for you? And I said, yep. So he's been a good friend and a Megadeth fan, and he brought me right back into the fold over at Jackson. It was really great. So.
Hey, Ross Rogers asked, any tips from either of you guys on writing music and lyrics?
Well, what do you think? I mean, so I got asked a similar question. So just so you know, like for Simple Truth, Tom, we're going to go to rehearsal. We were in Milan, Italy. We were rehearsing for our 2-week tour over there. And Tom said, hey, let's write a song today. And I always like when you do that, Tom, because it changes my mind from, okay, we're just going to get together and run through the song. Suddenly you go into a creative mind. So I picked up the bass and they started playing that riff. The opening riff is kind of Dead Kennedy's punk rock.
Literally, thing. David just spit out that cool. And it's so funny, that song, up until I wrote the lyrics and named it Simple Truth, we called it the DK song, the Dead Kennedy song. That's literally what we referred to it as. Yeah. And obviously, I'm a huge Dead Kennedys fan. David was too, as evident so far so good. So what bass and it's so that's what we referred to Simple Truth as the Dead Kennedy song right up until the minute, even after I named it. It took a minute for the name to catch on with everybody. They still kept calling it the DK song, but
and it was funny too because we had a lot of it there, and then Andy, our guitar player, he threw in that, I call it the Pantera riff, that da 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 da, right, that.
Me as you slowly kill yourself. You still don't wanna believe.
So while we were there, it's kind of like playing it. Tom's in the room, getting a vibe, kind of going, okay, I like it. And he's kind of humming some melodies. Didn't really have any words, but just kind of humming melodies. And he said, okay, look, shorten that, extend that little piece there. And I had my phone out. This is basically my
we basically recorded a video on David's phone. Sent it to Andy. He took it and mapped it out, sent it to David and me. I literally wrote the lyrics to that song in 10 minutes. Like, I got it. And I had some melodies. It's funny. My original melodies were more like Danzig-y, and then when I actually got the song and sat down with it, I mean, literally, I wrote the lyrics to that song in like 10 minutes. The bridge part, the part I was just singing, I wrote that in the studio. That was the only part I didn't have when I went into Platinum Underground to go track my vocals. And I wrote that in the studio in like a half an hour, and on that part, David sings some of it, Bumblefoot sings some harmonies, and I kind of wrote it in a bunch of little chunks. But I mean, look, the thing is with lyrics, man, some people write lyrics and try and fit them to a song. I can't do that. To me, lyrics are, and even, Hammer comes down on the Sleeping Giants record. Dave will attest, I spent 3 months trying to write lyrics for that song. It was funny, when I was at the studio tracking my Simple Truth lyrics, there's like a yellow notepad in the studio I write all my lyrics down on. And I was going through it, and there was 30 different lyrical styles and ideas and things I went through for Hammer, you know what I mean? And then finally one day, the day I actually recorded it and wrote the final part, I was just fucking pissed off. I went to the studio and just started screaming. And that became the winner, And originally Mark Tremonti was going to do some vocals on it, and I sent it to him. And he said, dude, there is nothing I'm going to do on that song cooler than what you already did. So we were like, okay.
There you go. There it is. Yeah. So that's it. And then I like this one. Have you, yes, I have met Steve Harris. I consider him a friend. I went down to hang with him and have dinner last time he was in town with Maiden. Have we ever jammed together? We have not. However, he did invite me and Frank Bello with Altitudes and Attitude to go to South America I guess a year and 2018, I think it was. But our record wasn't ready to come out. And so we've talked about doing some stuff with Altitudes and Attitude and with British Lion. And it just, so far, it hasn't worked out. British Lion came over here to America to do a tour, but I was in Europe with Megadeth and Five Finger Death Punch. So, hopefully we will. Hopefully there'll be something we can meet up on. It'd be fun for Steve's band and me and Frank's band to jam together. So that would be cool. Right.
He's so busy with Anthrax, it might end up being Ellefson that goes and plays with Steve.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, that's kind of weird.
So, and someone else was asking it.
Hi, John Costco. Hi, Bill Manspeaker. How are you?
KNEC Pure Rock is right from Megadeth. Yes, remember KNEC when it was a radio station before it became a .com? It was just awesome. So, and someone asked about playing at the Jackson Fair last year. Yes, there was a conversation about that.
They jumped the gun and announced we were.
They did.
And it hadn't even close to confirm it. We just, all of a sudden, we both started getting calls. I heard you guys were playing at the Jackson County Fair. We had one conversation with somebody about it. And it's funny, we were talking about doing more stuff in Jackson this summer, and then this whole thing happened. So God only knows what's
So who knows? Yeah. Someone else and that's Jackson, Minnesota, by the way, little town I grew up in. And but yeah, look, hopefully at some point we'll do something there, and it'll work out to do that. Another thing, we're actually talking about doing something, maybe a couple of fundraiser concerts coming up in I don't know, later this year. Obviously, get big gatherings provided, of course, or some gatherings of some sort. Someone else asked about a mega cruise. Yes, we hope there will be another mega cruise. Obviously not this year. Pretty likely that wouldn't happen, but maybe sometime after the dust settles here with everything.
Yeah, mega cruise was a blast. It was
super cool. Yeah, it was really good. All right, peeps. So look, I'm going to go binge watch. Have a good one. And yes, thanks everybody for jumping in. A lot of people here. So anyway, tomorrow night, 6 to 10 p.m. Pacific time. So that's California
8
time.
Central, 8 to midnight Central, 9 to 1 Eastern.
Yeah, 9 to 1 Eastern time. Yeah, not 9. Yeah, it is 9. Yeah, you're right. 9 to 1 Eastern. Tomorrow night, Friday nights, April 17th. So that will be the deal. And yeah, like Tom said, the Simple Truth is available on Bandcamp now, but will be available on all digital platforms tomorrow. We're donating all the proceeds from that to the Italian
let me post those links one more time.
Here's the Red Cross, the COVID-19 relief.
Here's the link for Simple Truth. I'm just going to post all these links one more time before we go. Here is the link for Simple Truth. You can buy it on Bandcamp, as Dave was just saying. All the proceeds are going to the Italian Red Cross. Here's the link to buy the raffle tickets for the event tomorrow. Win David's bass, coffee, shirts, some skateboards, all kinds of skateboards, courtesy of our friend John Horn over there.
A lot of people, thank you, by the way, for those raffle tickets and donations that all of you guys have been doing. They really go to help just kind of sustain. We don't have a lot of expenses with our foundation, fortunately. It's nice, but those funds are being used to employ some people for these lessons for the kids, because the lessons are to be free for the students who are signing up, and we're also using them for some COVID-19 relief efforts. So we really appreciate that.
We're actually really buying some guitars and some amps and some gear for some kids, which is some of our sponsors are really cool and giving us stuff for cost or artist cost, but we still got to buy it. Some people have donated some stuff, but again, there's a lot. We're being able to do a lot of really cool stuff for kids during this, crisis. And it's been really awesome, man. Thank you guys for supporting it. Hopefully you guys will come out and support tomorrow. Look, it's going to be fun. We're hanging out with D. Snyder, Head, Mark Tremonti, Wes Borland, Randy Blythe. What else do you guys got to do? Nothing.
Petrelli, DeGrasso, hopefully Chris Poland. Yeah. Well, not Chris Poland tomorrow. Like you said, maybe Chris Poland and Randy Burns will do that. And that'll be an awesome one, because Randy Burns was the producer of the Peace Sells album, and he and Chris Poland have remained dear friends, and that's a good idea, dude. That'll be a good one for a week or two from now when everybody's healthy. We should
we should get Randy and Chris. I mean, that would be super
cool, man.
Randy also produced this bad boy right here, Return to Metalopolis, which we just re-released on Combat. So the story gets deeper and deeper. Randy Burns actually wrote liner notes for me for the Combat re-release of Return to Metalopolis. Metalopolis. I got one of these right here too. This is the kind of shit I keep around me at all times. Megadeth cassettes.
Where was that from? Oh, that was the single?
I think Europe, it's EMI, or it's Capital.
Oh, yeah, so I thought it looked like a British thing.
I think it is a British thing. It's
a British thing.
Yeah, it's pretty much British. The single and the Megadeth Junior Ellison rock cards. These are also, dude, the stuff.
Felt cool to have my own trading card, I gotta say.
I'll send you one. I got 2 full sets. I got this sitting on my desk, the Holy Wars. And this is just the shit that just sits on my desk. I look at it all day for no practical reason, just other than I like to be surrounded by useless shit.
All right, peeps. We'll have a good one. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. All right. So thanks so much for jumping in. Really, really appreciate it. I will buy your signature strap as a donation. Okay.
Yeah, cool. We can do that.
Thank you. Yeah.
We got one. Yeah. Look, if you want to make it, look, hit me up. Anybody, again, hit me up and message Tom Hazard. Look, maybe we can arrange some donations for some random stuff, whatever. I mean, we got a lot of stuff. So Awesome. And again, buy raffle tickets. You can donate right here. This is our fundraiser. One last thing. You can donate right here if you want to make a donation. Boom. Thank you, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
Cool. Rockin'. See you. Bye.